Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, bringing you another Beat Matt Batrep.
We works here to play. MiniWarGaming's Beat Matt Batrep.
Today we're going to be playing a game of Warmachine, and Craig here has challenged me to a 35-point game with reinforcements. This is the first time I've played with reinforcements.
Second time for me.
Second time for you?
Yep.
Basically reinforcements, we have a 35-point army, and then we have 7 points that comes in the second turn. And a specific deployment method, which we'll get into when we get into the battle report. So it'll be Khador versus Protectorate. So let's go take a look at the lists. We're both playing casters that we haven't played before. So let's see how this works out. Let's take a look at the scenario as well as the armies. Let's start off by taking a look at my 35-point Khador army plus 7 points of reinforcements. For this one I decided I'm going to try a new caster, one that I've had for a while but never really wanted to try because it's one that's a little harder, and that is the Old Witch. And she actually comes with a light warjack, the only light warjack in all of the Khador army, which is Scrapjack. And she is going to have 2 other heavy warjacks, the Juggernaut and the Kodiak, in her battle group. So I really wanted to try out something that would be a little more difficult, not as straightforward as, say, Harkovich or Karchev. We got a full group of Winter Guard infantry, and they have 2 unit attachments. They have the unit attachment of Rocketeers, 2 of them, and then we have the Officer and Standard Bearer, to give them combined melee and other things. We have Fenris, both mounted and unmounted, so he's got some hard-hitting power. We've got a field gun team, that's a leader and 2 grunts, and then we have a full group of Doom Reavers. Well, actually, it's only, you can't do any other size. And then as my reinforcements, I have a MiniWar Dracoon, and he's mounted and on foot. And that's not Yuri the Axe, although it looks like it. That's going to be a Manhunter. I thought I had a painted Manhunter, but it turns out he's in the process of being painted. So now we're going to take a look at Craig's Protectorate of Menoth. Now he likes to go infantry heavy, as you're going to see here. And we've also got a new battle engine. Leading the entire army is Vice-Scrutator Vindictus, and he is gives extra 6 warjack points. He's got all sorts of fun spells and abilities. We got a Reckoner here. That's his full battle group, is just the Reckoner. And then of course we have the Menoth battle engine, the Vessel of Judgment, and this does all sorts of fun stuff. And you'll get to see that in play in this game. And then over here we have Visgoth Rovin and his bodyguards. So they're nice melee and with some special abilities as well. We got a full group of Holy Zealots. They're annoying because they all throw grenades. So lots of AoEs, but they're short range AoEs with a Monolith Bearer UA, which makes them fearless and some other things as well. We've got a minimum group of Exemplar Bastions. They're tough because they can spread out the damage they receive. We got a Vassal of Menoth, just for some extra spell abilities. We've got a minimum size Choir. And then we also have Gorman de Wolf. He is a mercenary. And then we've got a group of Racks. These are only 1 point for all 3. They're just basically to give his caster some extra focus. And then his reinforcements are 3 solos, the High Paladin Dartman Vilman, and then 2 Paladins of the Wall. These guys can basically walk forward without being able to take much damage from anything, as you're going to find out. Now, looking at the scenario, we decided to go with one of the Steamroller scenarios. I don't remember the name of it. I do apologize. But basically, you can see that there are 4 objectives. There's 2 pretty much on each player's side. Like, there's 2 in the middle, but you kind of look at them in groups of 2. So these 2 right here are a group, and then these 2 are a group. And basically, you need to control the objective that's in your opponent's side. So if you control the one that's all the way in your opponent's side, then you get a point. If you control both of them, then you get 2 points. I think you have to contest the other one too. You have to control the one in your opponent's side and contest the one in the middle. It doesn't matter for the ones that you own, except that you have to keep your opponent off of those. Oh, didn't realize that Craig was blocking the deployment there. So we rolled off and Craig decided to take first turn, and he had to place his battle engine first. And then he's placing all his zealots, and he's got his warcaster and his jack on the one side. I think he has, yeah, his racks are advanced deploy, so they're not going to be deployed yet. The battle engine has to be deployed before everything else. And just this for the scenario as well, because it's Steamroller, basically the person who goes first has 7-inch deployment, and the person who goes second is a 10-inch deployment. So that's the way that Privateer Press has tried to balance out the, hey, I got to go first, so I always get that extra benefit of being able to kill you faster. So on my side, I'm deploying the Old Witch with Scrapjack near the forest. I really need to keep them in the forest because when they are in AoEs or concealed, they also have, or sorry, not if they're concealed, if they're in AoEs, either forest or cloud effects, then they also have stealth, and she is very, very fragile, and so I need to make sure that she can't be targeted. The moment she can really be targeted is the moment she's really dead. So we got advanced deploy here with the racks. I also have advanced deploy with the Doom Reavers. I have to remember what they're called. And so we're waiting to put them on as well. So he's trying to spread these out because they do explode, hurting his own guys if he's near them. And the Doom Reavers are going to start over here. Basically, what I want to do is just kind of charge right into my objective as much as I can, while keeping my other flank of Winter Guard infantry to basically snipe anything that tries to get the objectives that he is supposed to control. And so you can see we're all lined up here, lots of infantry on both sides. You can see that my playstyle has really changed since I first began a while ago, where I was like, I want to do all jacks. Now I'm more, still like to favor jacks, which is why you'll usually see me bring 2 or 3 jacks. I can't just bring one. I have a hard time just bringing one jack, because I just love how powerful they are. And when you play Khador, you really have to play to that. So he sends over a point to his Reckoner, and then he casts a few spells there. I think the one spell he casts, basically everybody within his control area of 12 inches gets +2 to their movement. And so that works out really nicely for him. And so he's running up with everybody, using the extra movement to kind of make up for the fact that he started 7 inches up rather than 10 inches up like I did. So I have 3 inches of extra movement on him to begin. But then he has first turn, so that gives him the advantage. Holy Zealots move forward. Now they have all sorts of crazy things they can do. They have a mini feat that they can use once a game, where I believe the mini feat is that they can't be targeted by free strikes, and they can't be damaged or something like that. And then the UA also has the different abilities it can give them, either making them hit harder and damage more, or it can also make them do things like ignore stealth, or there's all sorts of little things that we'll see come into play. And then we've got Gorman moving up, getting ready to get in a position. What's really I'm going to have to really time well is my feat. Basically, my feat is anybody in the control area of the witch that moves and stays in her control area, or moves into her control area, takes a power 14 hit. So that's a death sentence for infantry. Kodiak moves up and vents steam just to give a little AoE and concealment. Juggernaut moves and touches that AoE so that he gets concealment as well, taking every little extra bit of defense that I can. Scrapjack is moving up, trying to keep himself blocked as much as possible. And then we're casting some spells here. Looks like we're casting... Oh yes, we have Iron Flesh going on the Juggernaut, which gives him +3 defense but -1 speed. And then we're putting Wield Secrets on the infantry, which gives them Pathfinder and Concealment. Or sorry, not Concealment, Camouflage. So when they're in the AoE in the trees, then they get the extra defense, the Concealment defense. Firing the Rocketeer, he fires and misses. And where does it scatter? We have one, it's moving 1 inch and moves forward a little bit, but does not hit anything. And then Fenris is just running up to get in a position, trying to flank, getting some cover as well. The Doom Reavers really don't know what they're going to do, because they're going to get targeted by all that blast damage. And so I'm just spreading them out as much as possible to minimize the damage that they can take. And then the field gun doesn't really have any targets, so it's going to take the advantage to run up and get into a better position. So end of round 1, no casualties, not even a point of damage scratched off of anybody, even though there was a shot fired from the Rocketeer. He's in his position, I'm in my position. No feats have been cast yet. Now we're going to wait to see how much he bombs the heck out of those Doom Reavers. My infantry did use their order from the UA, which gives them +2 defense, so they're nice high defense right now, which will keep them alive. So that is end of round 1. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and click the annotation. If you're on MiniWarGaming, click the link below.